What's up, After Buzzers, and welcome to the Time After Time After Show. Today we're talking about the pilot, and episode 2 is I Will Catch You. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I was going to say, just get into the music a little bit. Because she was like, wait, we need this song. Yep. Hey, After Buzzers, my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. And we're talking about the Time After Time After Show, and I'm joined by my awesome co-host.
Hey guys, I'm Chae Jones. That is CHAE, just in case. You can find me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram.
Woo! And then we have the live chat going. So if you're watching this live, I know it's a late night show, so thank you so much. We will probably be moving this to another date and time. Make sure to check our Twitter feeds on that, and we'll let you know for sure. But thank you so much for watching this live, and feel free to chat with us. And if you're watching this later, comment down below. We want to know your thoughts on these episodes in this show. So first up, what did you think? Initial thoughts?
I like the idea
Okay.
behind the fact that you have H.G. Wells, who is like one of the greatest writers, versus Jack the Ripper. Only because Jack the Ripper is such a unidentified, anonymous killer that no one, like, there's so much information about who Jack the Ripper is and what he was capable of during the time period. So I like the fact that they're exploring that a lot more in the show.
Yeah, the basic premise I totally am down with. I'm really wondering how they'll do this over the course of the show, because I'm like, okay, this is great of like a movie, but how are you going to keep constantly, give me the key, I'm going to take somebody, I'm going to kill somebody, and then like time machine of just like, I'm wondering.
I think that like third guy we saw, like he's
that
gonna
will
definitely
make it
throw
interesting, yeah.
a whole wrench in that.
Yes.
Somehow.
And then we also see for the trailer for next time that there will be time travel, and I didn't actually think they would do it. I mean, I know they have a time machine, but that doesn't mean H.G. Wells is going to want to constantly use it. And it's also in a place that's not super convenient to get to. So it's not necessarily like, oh yeah, let's just go pop in the time machine and go where we want to go. So yeah, we'll see. So yeah, I like the opening. We are introduced to Jack the Ripper, who is John Stevenson. Not Jack. Though John is a very generic male name as well. Same with Jack. So I'm like, well, he went from being Jack to John. Because they were talking about later, Jack, you're essentially anonymous. I'm like, John is essentially the most generic white guy name you could probably do. Think about it, guys. How many movies is the main dude named John? There's a lot. I mean, they've gotten a little bit better lately, but it's a very common hero name. So it's interesting he got that. And he has the murder of prostitutes. So I mean, that's the basic stuff we know about Jack the Ripper, which I do like that they touch upon his motives later, but we'll get to that.
No, what I found interesting, because I looked it up on Wikipedia,
Yes.
it was like, he's also known as the Whitechapel Murderer and Leather Apron for some reason. And it originated in a letter written by someone claiming to be the murderer that was decimated in media. So they're not really sure if Jack the Ripper is the actual murderer or is it just a name they gave themselves.
Oh, okay, yeah,
versus the Whitechapel Murderer. I don't know why Leather Apron is involved for some reason. It still makes a little sense to my mind.
It makes me think like a butcher.
True, but
like, I don't know.
But since you don't know much about it, I like the fact that he's a doctor, because that would explain, even back that time period, he like would cut from like abdominal things like the kidney, pelvic. Like, that's some knowledge you have to have.
Oh yeah,
you have to have knowledge for that.
Yeah, you can't just like, I'm gonna get something. We were discussing this before when we were watching it. My only real research on Jack the Ripper is the movie From Hell, which is an awesome movie about Jack the Ripper. If you're interested, I think it's like the 90s, maybe 2000s, but cool movie. There you go. There's your homework for next week. Go watch From Hell. Guys. And then we get H.G. Wells with his colleagues, and actually, I'm pretty sure that's how the time machine starts. I've read The Time Machine, I've read Island of Dr. Moreau, and The Invisible Man. I just haven't read War of the Worlds, so I've read a few of his books.
I've only ever read Invisible Man.
Nice. Well, The Time Machine does start with him and his colleagues, and he's like, hey guys, there's this totally paraphrasing. I have this time machine in the basement. I'm going to go do it, and I'm going to come back, and you're going to not even know I was gone. So it's kind of cool that that's how they start it, that I'm like, hey, that's like the thing. So we learn more officially later that his full name is Hubert George Wells. I think we'll just call him HG for now, because H.G. Wells just sounds too long to say every time, and we're just going to call Jack the Ripper Jack. I think it'll be easier to remember. So if you guys are following along,
guys. We're going to go for easy today.
So HG was like, I want his utopia and like advancement.
I like that.
It's
I like the
sweet.
idea of you.
Yeah.
Like it's like you read books or you saw movies and they're just like, I want to reach that utopia, complete peace of, no crime, just everybody's happy. Like even in Charm when they did the whole utopia aspect, I like the idea of what utopia means because what we're dealing with now still sucks super hard.
It's one of those you can argue there's major advancements, but his idealistic, it's inevitable that we would get better with time. There are certain things. I mean, he points out the gender and racial differences when he gets here. Luckily, they don't dwell on it too long because it would just
we
get
could
old.
touch into that, but no, we shouldn't.
But but it's way different than it was
in 1893.
There,
definitely.
So progress, but not perfect. It's more like Jack's point of, we're the same as we were 200 years ago. So I do kind of agree with that. Though someone in the chat, random comment, Jared points out, I don't know if it's still popular, but Jack was once a nickname for John and Jonathan. So good point. But again, it's just the funny thing of, but if they didn't know who he was, it's just funny that they've given this character a name, John. That was more the...
No, I found interesting what he said, like when you just said that, being in this time, 2017, there's so much violence and all the things that were going on the screen. He's like, you can buy a rifle or a revolver and no one cares. These people encourage it. And it's kind of sad because it's actually a true statement.
Oh, yeah.
People crave violence for some reason. And I think as a kid I kind of did because like where I grew up, that seriously was kind of how it was. But as an adult, I don't have time for that. Like, let's be serious. Like, I'm grown. I feel like I don't have time for you. Like, at that point, I'm like, are you going to be stupid? That's so fine. I don't have to be involved in it, though.
Oh, no, I think the show does an excellent job of making commentary on today. Because, I mean, it's the best way to do it. It's the easiest way. Have someone from another time period come here. But, again, I'm happy they don't dwell on things too long because then you're like, we get it. Like, Timeless did a good job. I did that Time Machine show, too. Where they would address points. Like, they'd say the race stuff. They'd say the gender stuff. But they wouldn't, like, beat it over the head, like, too long. They'd point out the obvious, like, this is how it would be. And then they move on. So you're like, good, thanks. Then H.G. Wells' place, we have Scotland Yard shows up, and how convenient. He's like, that's private man's property. And then they open the bag.
Right, because, like,
evidence.
Could you do that? I feel like, I understand why they did it, because it helps,
Probably not now. Now we'd be like, no.
Could you do that back then? I'm, like, really curious to that answer. I really want to know.
Maybe law-wise, then they'd be like, whatever. But now here, we'd be like, no, you can't. It would be tampering with evidence or something. Yeah. We would somehow. And the machine is gone. And then it comes right back. So luckily it's not gone forever. And then... But Stevenson having a knife on H.G. Wells, people would notice that. Well, he had it in his bag. And, it's all hidden. And he's a doctor.
And it's
of course he carries
blade
stuff.
Too. Like, even when, like, he had the back of the knife to Jane Walker, who we meet. Yeah. In the first 30 minutes.
He has a favorite weapon.
That knife is legit, I have to say. Yeah. I've never seen a knife like that. Yeah. I don't want to see it again in real life, but it is awesome.
Yes. The time machine works, but I kind of want to know how does navigation work? Because he talks about, like, going to a place, and at least, like, and I guess I'm just comparing this to Timeless because I just got off Timeless. That one they can kind of specifically pinpoint where they're going to be. But then again, you don't know what was in that space at that time. So I'm like, what if you had a time machine and you popped right here in the studio? You don't know where you're going to land, So I'm like, how convenient you are, in the library. Or, I mean, in the museum.
Well, I think also because that's where it actually was during that time, too. So
the question is, do you jump to it where it was?
I think
Did the thing actually move, or you move to where it is at another point in time?
that makes a lot of
That's
sense.
a good question.
We should ask the writers that, like, seriously.
Right. And then the security, when he gets out of that time machine, I'm like, damn, they were rough on him. Like, they tackle him to the ground.
Like, he had his hands up and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like...
Well, that's a commentary on security and police officers possibly, too.
Especially in New York, apparently.
I'm like, yeah, the guy's like, I'm not doing anything. Like, I thought they would come over and, like, grab his arm and be like, let's
That
go.
makes a
I'm
lot
like,
more
you
sense.
tackled him? Tackled him.
I think for that, like, it was also to the point,
And-
like, to
and
show just how different, like, now that he's reached 2017, how
or taser.
different.
They could have tasered him. That actually makes...
But we saw how
did
tasering
laser.
actually worked a little bit too. Like it wasn't that effective apparently.
Well, on him, that guy. Apparently Jack wakes up right away, which I'm like, okay, whatever. Because I mean, you've
wait till we
seen
get to that scene.
footage.
I'm gonna go in on that, but go.
Okay,
Continue.
I was gonna say we've seen footage of like students tasered at an event or something, and like they're down.
No. Okay. So in high school, this is a. I'm gonna be really quick about this.
Okay.
This is a funny story. So for some reason, five fights broke out one after the other.
Okay.
During my junior year. And so it was the last fight. The girls were going at it. The police finally showed up after 5 fights. And tased one of the girls. She was like 5 foot. She seriously jumped and still came back down swinging.
Oh, okay.
So it affects people different ways.
Yes, good point.
It was
Do
the
they
funniest thing I've
actually
ever seen in my
film
life,
in New
though.
York? I want to say they do.
There's no, you can't fabricate Central Park like that. I really don't think. There's no
Jared said, it seems that the time machine goes forward to its location in that time. I don't know how the past time travel works. Yes. Because, he moved from London to New York. Yeah, I think it was I don't know how it works for going to the past, but moving forward, it makes sense if you only really get to travel. You select the time, but your location is where the time machine is in that time. So the question is, if it gets destroyed in the future, can you actually get to that location? But we don't know yet. But that's too many questions.
That was my question, because he said when he first introduced himself to Jane, who's the assistant curator, just so I keep saying her name real quick. He's like, I'm from 12 Modern Lane.
Oh yeah, you felt the address changed.
Yeah, but like the address was like, and so I'm thinking in my head, like, and somehow, how did it change?
Two numbers. Like, did it just move buildings somehow after his last final thing? Because like, if he grew up at 12, like that's kind of like, that should be like in public knowledge. Yeah.
So if they were looking there, somehow it ended 2 buildings over.
It could have changed by zoning in the city.
Okay, I believe that.
So that's a possibility. Think of it more like boring city planning stuff. Sure.
Boo.
And I wrote LOL. He's just so nice and polite and smiley when he's talking to her. I was like, that's almost creepy.
Oh, I think it's so cute.
It was
he's
sweet,
smitten.
Just the beginning, he's being he's very British and Victorian.
And very gentlemanly. Like, every time she stood, he got
very
up.
British and very Victorian.
I was like,
yeah,
that's actually kind of cute. Like, when was the last guy
back in the day
when I stood up? Like, guys, it goes a long way when you do that for girls. Just so you know.
Yeah. No, we were not saying, Ivan, we were not saying he grew up in New York. We're saying the time machine moved. We're referring to his London address. Yes, then Jane Walker, the assistant curator. And yeah, they have the gag of like, oh, it's a woman in charge. Can I speak to the person in charge? Which, all things considered, he wasn't implying her as a woman like you're the one in charge. Because plenty of times when you're dealing with a business, like you're not going to talk to the person in charge right away. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there.
Because I don't think he really meant any harm by
I don't think he meant like, oh, you're a woman. Because he doesn't, I think him, even though he's from a different time period, that character doesn't seem to be, he's just not like that. But then when he says the pronoun for the other person of like he, and she's like, well, it's a woman too. And he's like, but then he was happy about it. He's like, great, this is awesome.
He's like, I feel so awesome that you progressed. Like, he was happy.
Yeah. And then they mention like the other guy, and he's like, crap, I gotta go. He's
Hunting.
here too. Yes. And then yeah, they have their montage as they both check out the city. And a couple of you were commenting in the chat how quickly that Jack gets acclimated to the city, knows how to use a cell phone very quickly and does all that. But I mean, he's in survival mode. I kind of can go like, all right, fine, because HG's kind of taking it in. He's having like Jane hold his hand through it. Like, I think Jack has to do it because nobody's like, let me help you do this.
Well, this is and like
He's a predator.
you can
He
definitely
can
notice
adapt.
in their personalities, like he thinks HG is a lot more naive, and so like being in a new city, like Jack is a lot more adaptable, and he adapts quickly to whatever he is, and that's one of his character traits, to adapt as quickly as possible without giving himself away.
Yes. Oh no, he has to survive. He's like he's a predator that he has to be able to adapt. Though I would argue he did not need to, both of them actually didn't really need to change their hair or beards. Both the beard and mustache are super popular.
All he did was just like
get rid of his mustache. Hipsters are super huge still, and beards are in. So I'm like, why'd they have to? I kind of dug it.
No, I wanted actually he didn't need that. However, Jack, I like this
Jack's
more than I
full
like
beard
this.
was fine.
I don't really.
Fair
I
enough.
don't like the
little mustache.
Yeah, the little man stash. No, not a fan.
Well, he's so blonde that it also doesn't really have. It's not like character. The way Jack's beard is like, yes, manly. He's a lumberjack kind of look, but no, so I was like, well, he didn't have to. And then the other thing too, I know this is superficial, but still, HG, like, he had the hair flat at the beginning, and then he had this like cool, like pouffant pushing it back style, and I'm like,
which is very modern.
it's so modern that why would he go, I suddenly want to do my hair modern. I understand shaving the mustache, I can go with that, but then he's like, I'm gonna style my hair. I'm like, yeah, see the poof right there in the photo, like behind us.
I haven't got to that level yet, thankfully.
I'm like, I don't know. I was fine with the other one, but whatever. But yeah, their montage while they kind of go through the city stuff is fun and entertaining. And even their old-fashioned clothes, technically, would totally be popular now, too. People are wearing plenty of old-fashioned stuff.
Vintage,
Yeah, vintage is in. And then we get Doug Lawson, the head of security, and Anders Enterprises, and meet Vanessa Anders. Were you trusting them right away, or were you suspicious?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I felt when I was actually seeing that part. I was just like, you're the CEO of a company. I understand why she was there and why they needed to be brought into custody. And it wasn't like I didn't feel like I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I didn't feel like they had motives for like anything sinister or whatever. But I'm just like, I don't know how to take you also.
Right. You're just like, who are you? What are you doing? Yep. No, totally.
At first I thought they were just like, you're just, seriously, we're just going to see you for this episode. You're going to be like gone later because you're not important. But turns out they're a lot more important.
And then another thing, some people are talking about the Jack using the phone right away. I mean, he's a doctor. He's a very smart person. So it's not like, he's stupid. So I believe he could adapt very quickly. And the thing
with HG, he's more of an idealist. So he kind of, I won't say like not a dream world, but he's definitely a big dreamer.
Bit.
So like the technology he thinks is amazing, but he's not as easily able to figure out how it works as well.
Okay, some people are still stuck on it. Casket fan says, I don't understand how fast John used his cell phone when adults that grew up in the time still don't know how to use one. True, but they're older. He's, I would say, younger, like, and he can
early
figure
30s.
Yeah, I mean, and he's also, again, he's survival mode. He has to do this to survive. So I think that makes you on a whole other level than just like, what is this doohickey that I'm playing with, and like, how do you use a phone? We'll just go with it. But then we see modern times, we have HG crying at the news, which is so sad, but a good point of, no, we still live in an extremely violent time.
Which kind of makes him cry, and that was a little sad. Yeah. Like watching, like, you kind of saw his heart break at his idea of utopia, like, and what it, and you guys had to throw the Trump in. I appreciate it, but just like, we didn't need that.
No, it makes it very modern. I appreciate it. I'm glad they didn't have footage. It just had the voiceover.
It was like it was a really fast clip.
Oh, yes, it was. You're right.
I was happy about that. It was just like a fast clip.
Yeah. Well, they filmed it already, so it's been out for a little while.
True.
I mean, they've already filmed it. Then, Jack shows up, and he comments on how easy it is to get guns, which is another commentary on our society of, yes, it's very easy.
It's very easy. It takes 35
and too many people
minutes
have them.
The last time I heard.
And then he talks about, which this is also a commentary of, like, I could be violent towards you and nobody's going to care. Bystander apathy. There's, like, that semi-urban legend but true story of like a woman get murdered in her apartment area and like is calling for help, and people are just kind of watching because somebody else is gonna call 911. So it's just like, it's true and sad.
I hate
go
that.
dark on you guys.
That's the only thing
right?
I actually hate that.
Yeah.
About our society, only because it's just like, especially like, you know, have you heard if you're like getting attacked, you don't yell help, you yell fire or something like that. Like, it's more like somebody's gonna call 911 if they hear fire versus help. Yes,
exactly. Then HG runs away and he gets hit by a car, goes to the hospital, and he has the business card from Miss Walker. And I didn't like that he lied to her, but I'm like, I guess if she's just not going to believe you, sure, go with the lie. And how many of you enjoyed her It's Much Ado About Nothing?
That was awesome.
That was a good Shakespeare joke there. And then I loved our lovely little eye candy with Jack when he's looking for HG and he's all shirtless in his towel. Like, this is for eye candy for y'all out there.
The only thing is, like, we've seen his abs in Pitch Perfect. I'm like, where was those abs a little bit for me for that one? I'm just like,
I didn't see the show.
I didn't see that, and I'm just like, dude, I've seen you in Pitch Perfect. Your abs are on point. Where is it?
He's a little more like a thick guy.
I think he feels like more thin though now for some reason.
Oh, so wait, you're saying he looks leaner?
Yeah, versus like he was like a lot more cut.
That would make him thinner.
That's what I said.
Yeah, so now I'm saying he's thicker. Like he's more like, not saying
like
fat
down
or anything like that, guys. Somebody's like, oh, body shaming. No. Just saying, like, it's like he's more like
like a swimmer-ish.
No, those are more trimmed too. Like I'm thinking more like 300, like just like bulk muscle. So it's not like, we're not talking Brad Pitt in oh my goodness, I can't do names right now. Snatch. We're not talking Brad Pitt in Snatch where he's super lean muscle and like 0% body fat. We're just talking more like he's a thicker, there's muscle, it's just not like, you know,
like
tiny.
What we used to see. Yeah,
I thought he looked really good.
No, he still looks great. Like, don't get he's still fine. He's been fine since Harry Potter. He's fine now.
Yeah,
it works in life.
And then there we go. Sorry. Then we have Jane and HG bonding, and it's cute how they both think their lives need adventure. And how cute he was when he was shy holding up the towel in the bathroom.
I know, that was like adorable.
He's like, don't see my chest.
But I'm like, dude, you already have a towel wrapped around you. You just like, it's like something a female would do. Seriously, like of holding the towel like that.
I'm gonna go with it's very Victorian of him. Of like, you do not see, but his behavior. Okay, it's funny. It's very contradictory, and I'm only really into this because I have a friend who's super into Victorian stuff, so I've done a lot of events with her, and you can see my Instagram photos of Victorian outfits I've worn. His behavior is like that of like, oh, I'm so conservative, and then he stands so inappropriately close to her, which Victorian, him being in her home alone would have been like scandalous.
Well, I think it's funny because, like, you know, when it first started the episode, he's like, I'm happy being single. I can be single forever. Mm-hmm. And then he finds this other person who's like happy being single as well, even though she doesn't want to be single forever. And like that intrigues him. Like now he's PK'd. Like I think that's kind of very adorable. I thought the whole closeness, like looking over her shoulder as she's doing her cure, because he's like, I think his mind's like, that's coffee. Like seriously, he was like, I can't believe that's coffee right now.
Yeah, no, I don't know, he's standing real close to her. Oh, and then referring back to our Jack, which, hey, I'm all for equal opportunity, objectification. If we're going to have all the ladies in sexy outfits, we got to have the guys in sexy outfits too. Equal opportunity here. Though they just had Jack, so I mean, I don't know if we'll have more with HG.
Oh, sorry, it was like their ship name is Gels.
Okay, Gels. All right. And yes, Billie Jean says Jane liked the closest. Yes, she did. They're both like, I'm happy being single.
Until you find,
it's kind of nice
it's
you
like
hanging out with me.
That person, like you don't mind being.
They have a lot in common. They have chemistry real fast. I did write a note. I'm like, they're moving a little fast.
But I think that's awesome because like in like that time, like you kind of did move fast. Even in like the modern time, you kind of don't. Even though like if that's
courtship,
the 50s,
slow down.
If this is like the 50s, like no, like it'd be like they ought to be married like after the first week ish. Like I actually miss like that old time of what relationships were supposed to be like back in the day. And like people lasted Like, they don't last now, and that kind of sad. It really is. It makes dating so stupid.
They're picking out the
and
wrong
that's why she quit
people.
Tinder. I need to quit Tinder as well.
Oh, yeah, I think I quit Tinder. Good point, too. Oh, yeah, you get to the point of, like, yeah, I need to prove that, you know, it's true. So they go to the time machine, and then I was like, they didn't point out, could you choose what time of day you travel to? They had enough
did not
dials.
see that. I just saw he's
date.
like, I just like 3 days later.
Because they seem to conveniently be there after the museum closed.
So I think that's why she thought, like, it's the same time.
Yeah, but the other security guard was nearby, and they were closing. And they went to another area, and nobody was around. So I wonder, there's enough dials with numbers that I think you maybe could adjust what time of day, but they don't really go into it. So that's another good question. I am so happy that she believes him quickly. I hate the movies and shows where they're like, I'm going to doubt you forever. It's like, no, he just proved to you it's a different time. And then she goes, okay, cool. Which I'm like, thank you.
As they're walking on the moon. Like, and the moon exhibit, which is awesome.
You know? Yes. Then we have, she's a newspaper. They find out she's going to be the third victim. Okay, now when they go after him, I'm like, is this ironic? Because in trying to prevent him killing her being there, he goes, oh yeah, you. So I'm like, damn it, you gave him the idea now. So
that is true.
I'm
Which
like,
is like his
did
whole
you
point
just
of
cause it? That's
altering
right?
features.
Ugh. And they have their
But he
standoff.
did prevent her death, so that's a win.
That's true. Their standoff, don't use the gun, which I'm sorry, okay. That's where I have my okay, it's bad to kill somebody, but if you know he's a murderer, you know he's gonna kill other people. Can we at least shoot him in the leg? Shoot him in the shoulder?
Something incapacitating.
Something.
No, that's the same thing when, like, he ends up kidnapping Jane.
Yeah.
And she hits him once. Like, we were talking about this.
Double tap.
I'm sorry.
Double tap.
Why does it in horror movies, just mostly horror movies, where you just hit the person once and then, like, they go down, but you don't want to hit them another time. Hit them another time to give you more time to get away successfully. Mm-hmm. That's all I have to say about that. Because, no, that actually was just like, you could hit him with the door. There were so many things
Something,
anything.
Yes. Break his kneecap. Sorry, if you know he's a murderer and you know he's going to kill you. And guess what? He came after you again. Just saying. Okay, so there seems to be some discrepancy in the chat room of if you can choose what time of day. Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see.
Did they go back after 3 days? Yes,
yeah, they went back. They went right back. Yeah.
Because they left around 7-ish.
Yeah. They got back to her apartment 10:30. Yes.
Yeah.
So he gets stabbed, and they're like, "Here, we're gonna help you." And then Jane's like, "I want to help," and of course Jack breaks into her apartment, which I'm like, "Damn, how do you figure out?"
Again, so easily, like.
Yeah. Where's her other lock? She lives in New York, girl. I'd be like, lock,
you should be
lock,
deadbolting.
lock. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
There shouldn't be just like one snick of a knife, and you're somehow allowed and seriously, I'm sorry. I hear things like I'm just really attuned to sounds for some reason, but like if I somehow hear a snick of a door, I turn in that direction.
And then. Some people are commenting of good point that technically the episode aired on March 5th and like 3 days ahead is the same date kind of idea. Similar, well, it's 2 days ahead would be the 7th. But, I wanted her to grab, Jared said I wanted to grab the butcher knife or something and then pull the fire alarm. Good point. You know, it's just,
And I just think that was another thing that was too fast for him to like find out.
To break into the house?
Like to find her, I guess, to find like somehow.
Yeah, I wondered how quickly he found her. I'm like, unless he followed.
Should have following them from the museum.
No, that's after the club.
Oh, but he must have been lurking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cause I think he's also a lurker.
Yeah, I don't. That one I don't know. Vanessa shows up and she's like, I am your great-great-granddaughter. And at first she's like, I can't find any evidence of that. But then later they do the DNA test and they prove, yes, I am. Which is cool. Because I'm like, who is this lady?
And he gives her more of a reason to be around, too.
Yes. She gives them the reasoning and they go to her place. And I'm like, this is kind of suspicious. Though I am way suspicious of Griffin Monroe, her husband. Way more suspicious of him.
Yeah, he was a little too
he's
curious.
So creepy. Later with the alcohol, he's like,
Like, we're just talking. This is, you're not... But it was just the way he
Weird.
asked certain questions. Mm-hmm. Like, are you a distant cousin? I'd be like, why are you interested?
Yeah, it's just like, wait, what? Then Jane, we talked about the part where Jane hits him over the head, double tap, and then they don't make it out, of course.
Because
Or they should have tied,
he's a fast,
or even as lame as tie his shoelaces together or something. They can't get up and run right away. Like something to
actually, I
slow
don't think
him down.
That actually makes sense. He would not have expected his shoes to be tied to
Right.
him, you know. At least then they could have heard it and ran
Yes.
even faster.
He was
man.
fast. Okay.
He was fast.
So-
like when he grabbed one, she tumbles down the steps. Like I'm like, she looks out the door like I'm so close. I'm
Yeah.
so close to like freedom.
Apparently, you started a hashtag Lurker John and Jack the Lurker.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love to start hashtags.
Yeah, because the dude gets hit in the head. All right. He's unconscious not that long, and he can get up and run so quickly. So Jack's like superpowered.
A little bit because like he's still like she was true when she said you're the most famous serial killer ever because you've never been caught and you're
Yes.
anonymous. I think that's what pissed him off even more though, him being anonymous though.
Oh yeah, he was not happy
wants
about
the
that.
fame.
Yeah.
He wants that knowledge to be actually a thing.
Oh yeah, that part. There we go. Yeah, Jane's like questions him on his motives, and he's like, "Well, it's just the opportunity," and why he got prostitutes, which is a really good point of like it's alleyways and not his notice. Same thing with vagrants.
Yeah, but the thing is, like the original Jack the Ripper, like when you read his things of and the way he killed the women, there's besides just stabbing them multiple times, there's no reason to tear out a kidney or shove something into their pelvicness. I feel like there's the misogynist and hatred of women is not far off. Mm-hmm. Even like I think he appreciates women, but I think he also has a little dislike for women for some reason.
Yeah.
We don't know why. I blame the mother. Because for some reason, that's where it always leads back to.
Well, I liked his explanation of as a doctor, he likes to save a life and what it feels like to take one. I'm like, I can buy that motive.
I can buy that motive. Because, like, especially most doctors have God complexes.
Yeah.
They love the fact that they have the power to save the life.
The only other bit with HD when he changed his clothes, they changed his clothes, which I'm like, that's always weird. And sees his books and the idea, should you read your books ahead of time or does that inspire you or not? It's that paradox. I don't know.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I do like when a time travel show and they explain their rules. I don't care what rules you make up in your show or movie as long as you explain them and stick by them. So they have their time rules of the hole in time, of not going to too many spots at the same time because then that could be dangerous.
I have a question for the chat right now though, because since we just I'm, for some reason my mind's still on that.
Sure.
So if you were Jane and you tumble down, but you were like safely to see the door, would you save your life or go back? Would you guys do it? Because we talked about that too.
Leave that as a comment down below if you're not watching this live.
Actually, I really want to know the response on that because that's a very
it's hard.
It's a hard decision to make. Because either way, I feel like he would have killed both of them. Like most serial killers, once they have what they need, you're of no use. They don't need you anymore. Mm-hmm. You serve no purpose.
Yeah. Well, he's a serial killer, and if you know he's Jack the Ripper, I'd be like, you're probably gonna kill me anyways. Which guess what? That happens in a lot of other things too. And you're like, guess you should have done something sooner, but whatever. They have the Central Park Bridge showdown, which goes wrong. But Vanessa's like, no, I want to help. Okay, so then we have the other interesting bit, and we're going a little fast because we're running a little on time. But a couple people thought that Jane would leave the girl. I think she's too good of a person to do that, so she couldn't honestly do that.
Ivan's like, he got mad at Jane talking back at him. Definitely signs of misogynism.
Oh yeah, because he said that. He's like,
I don't
like women talking back to me that way or something like that.
In my mind, I'm just like, you forgot what century you're in.
Well, that's what she said. She's like, you're going to find a lot of women that aren't what you're thinking of. So we have that guy following HG.
He's so creepy. He's cute. He's so creepy.
You like that, Ginger?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for tall and mysterious. And I don't know.
Okay. I'm sorry. Being a bright red beard and red hair does not make him conspicuous. I'm like, he stood out. He's a good looking dude.
Not enough for Jack, though, apparently.
No, not for Jack at the bar. No. But someone sitting at a bar and someone following you is two very different things.
He was a bad follower. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Dude,
he was a horrible follower.
You're a horrible follower.
You
I'm
need
so
to be
sorry.
like a block or more behind. No, it was bad. But
you definitely keep more space between like just
yeah.
What was it like? I want to say like 50 paces ish.
Yeah. Then we have the photos, and he has that whole wall. Do you have
And
any
like actual
theories?
times. Like
Yeah.
he had an 11 a.m. thing, like museum at 11 a.m. Like he knew. So like I'm either thinking he's a bounty hunter for like some government thing, or other theory is he's H.G. Wells from a different time.
Yeah.
From that time when he went to go see Vanessa in college.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll hold on to what we think he is.
Because he was still cute but creepy. Like, why are you video? Like,
It was weird.
he somehow knew where both of them were going to be. That's what got me.
Yeah. Then we have Jane and Jack, and you can't reason with him really. But I thought he totally slashed up the girl, and lo and behold, she's fine.
Right? It was like
It looked like her. I was like, oh, that's so brutal. And then no, she's fine. So Jane made an impression on him, made him think about it. But he had that moment at the bar talking with that woman who he probably killed. I totally blanked because I don't even think they got her name right away. But the first girl who died, shout out to Julie Mao from The Expanse. That was cool.
Oh, that's what she said?
Yeah, she's on The Expanse for a little bit from season 1, so that was kind of cool to see her, though she's blonde in this. So I was like, whoa, wait, that's Julie. That's her character name, by the way. Then, okay, we have a couple theories.
I know, that's what I was like, that's what I said, ooh.
Billie Jean said he could be another time traveler or related to HG. Excuse me, I think that could be interesting.
Charmed original is like, he's original, like he's HG's grandson from the future.
That could be interesting. And yes, he was a bad tail.
He was.
He was. Thank you, Casket Fan. Oh my gosh, he was horrible. I'm like, what? Then when they have the museum, they're trying to break in and they break the machine, which, guess what? They're going to stay there for a while because the machine's kind of broken. They got to fix it. And Jack's like, I'm going to kill somebody every day until I get the key. Definitely don't trust Griffin, and we don't know what that emblem is. All right, let's do some quick predictions.
It was like the whole like the circle, side X's.
Yes.
Like it's interesting symbol, but like now I'm trying to figure out what could it possibly mean.
Well, shall we get into predictions and we'll make our
Your
theories?
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So please say your theories as well if you're watching this live, and if not, leave your comments down below. All right. Do you trust Griffin?
I'm going to wait on that one only because I want to say yes.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's definitely a bigger scheme at work of why he's involved. Whether that's going to be a good reason or a bad reason is yet to tell, but I want to reserve judgment. How about
Fair
you?
enough. I don't trust him. Nope. The way he was standing there with the alcohol at the end, I'm like, nope, don't trust him. Okay. What do you think the motives are of our mystery follower Ginger Man?
For some reason I feel like the emblem is like some secret society ish, which is like it would explain the whole why somebody needed his Jack the Ripper's DNA to perfect. Why would you like? I think somebody's trying to perfect serial killers or make somebody a better killer, which could explain like maybe army, navy, any government type thing.
Which is interesting. Why is his DNA so special? I mean, he killed a lot of people and got away with it. Doesn't necessarily mean his DNA is.
But I think it's because he got away with it. Like he's the
but it's a different time period compared to now too. It's like you could disappear. They don't have the same technology, so we'll find out if there's something more special to his DNA.
Yeah, because but I feel like maybe Griffin's a part of secret society.
Maybe
and that's why he's so like in like they're tracking time travelers. Maybe.
I think as Ivan in the chat said, maybe the ginger guy works for Monroe. That's a possibility. Billie Jean said maybe the symbol has something to do with the guy that was following them. Also a possibility. I don't know. The symbol I think has something more meaning because he didn't write it, and it's interesting that HG did not write himself much more info. He kept it very vague. But like he said, it's like he didn't want to reveal too much because then that also affects your actions, so that would change time. So I don't know.
It was this Jerry spoken. Maybe he doesn't have the only time machine,
right?
Which is an awesome prediction. That's something I'm actually interested in seeing.
Yeah. Do you have any other predictions?
I think I'm great.
I'm only going fast because we're at the end of time and it's kind of a late night. So,
We have to get home. We're
yes,
sleepy.
we're tired. But thank you guys so much for watching the Time After Time After Show. Like I said, make sure to check our Twitters, which we'll be telling those to you shortly. We will post if we move to another day and time. It might be next week. It'll be Mondays earlier in the afternoon because this is a bit late for us. It's probably late for you too, unless you're watching this later. Which thank you so much for watching. So
We appreciate it.
Where can they find you online?
Hey guys, you can find me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram.
And you can find me online at Kari D. Lane. That's Karidlane. And thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up, 5 stars on iTunes. Leave your comments down below on what your thoughts are on the episode and what are some of your predictions. And if you've read any of H.G. Wells, which one is your favorite one? I think my favorite would probably be Island of Dr. Moreau, if only because I've seen both movies, which are crazy but cool, and I like them, and it's weird. And we saw previews for next time, which is kind of, but I don't think they're gonna go full into it. So anyway,
I just like the Invisible Man.
it's a good one too. Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to AfterBuzz so you can be up to date on all these awesome shows, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.